Hello there. Welcome to the for this video. We're going to look at the question paper. Then we're going to look at question two, question paper. Question we're going to prepare a cash receipt journal and cash payment journal. And obviously, also prepare general ledger in the form of a bank account. Right. The question reads the following information appear. Dal cakes from heaven from 31 May. So we're just going to look at the first part of that question, whereby it reads, make supplemental entries with cash receipts journal and cash payment journal and daily text for the event on 31 May 2021. Close off the journal on 31 May 2021 and post the bank account in the general ledger and balance the bank account. So this is the part that we are going to look at. So we are going to start by going through the transactions that were given in the question, and then we post them as required. Right. For the first part, it reads the bank account at a debit balance of 145,879 rands on the 1st of May 2021. So this is the balance that we are going to start with in the bank account in the ledger. So we are just going to maybe skip it at the moment because we're going to start with preparing the journals. Then point number two, a comparison of the bank statement with the cash receipts journal. So comparison of the bank statement with the cash receipts journal and the cash payment journal for 31 May 2021 revealed the following differences. So on 2.1, the bank statement from Canara Bank showed a favorable balance of 365,785. So on the preparation of the bank reconciliation statement, this is the balance that you're going to start with. And remember, it's a favorable balance, which means it will be on the credit side of the bank statement or the bank reconciliation statement. And on 2.2, the following checks have not yet been presented for payment on 31 May 2021. So remember, our checks not presented are only going to affect the bank reconciliation statement, whereby we are going to put them on the debit side of the bank reconciliation statement. So they are not going to affect our cash receipts journal and cash payment journal as the ones that we are going to prepare for this video. So for this video, we just skip this. Then we go to 2.3, check number 212. The value of 37,443 rands sent to Cook's Bakery as payment for account was cancelled. This check got lost in the post. So remember, whenever a check is written and issued, at that moment it is adjusted in the cash book. So it's going to affect our cash receipts journal and cash payment journal. So in this case, this is a check number 212, the value of 37,243 rands sent to Cook's Bakery. So it was already on the credit side of the cash book, which means it was under the cash payment journal. But we are being told that this check got lost in the post, so it means we have to cancel this check. So by canceling, it means we are going to put it on the opposite side of the cash book. Remember, we are saying it was recorded on the credit side of the cash book. So it means we have to go to the debit side to cancel it and enter it there. And the debit side represents the cash receipts journal. So it means in this case, we are going to post it to the cash receipts journal. So we can go to our answer section and enter 37,243 as a cancellation of that check. So this is our cash receipts journal. And remember, we have got some details that we have to enter there. That we have got document number, column for document number, day, details, volume, as we go. So for document number, we are just going to try to check what are we going to enter there, and then we need to take note of the day. And obviously, on the details part, we are going to enter as Cook's Bakery, since it's a check that has to be cancelled. So let's just try to go back and see. So if you come here, you would see that on our adjustments, we've got check number 212, the value of 37,243 rands sent to Cook's Bakery as payment of our account must be cancelled. This check got lost in the post. So on the date part, remember these transactions we are going to be adjusted on 31 May 2021, which means this day is going to affect all transactions that we have here. So this is going to be our debt. And then our amount, we put 37,243. And then on the details part, we are going to pick books Becker as our description under the details part. So we are just going to enter as such. So if you come here, you see that on the parts we are going to say this is on 31 May. So we are just going to give put 31, and then May we just put it in the representation of 5. So on the details parts, that's where we are going to write books Becker. And then the amount that we are going to put is 37,243, which is going to be under bank. 37,243. So this is the amount that we have. And then we are also going to put another entry there. That is, remember, this 37,243 is a cancellation, so it's not going to affect our sales. If you come here, you would see that we've got columns that we have here. We've got the sales column, trade receivable control, and then those are the columns that we are having there. So you see that this is a cancellation which is not going to affect our sales, our trade receivables control. So if it doesn't qualify in these columns, we are going to put it under sundry account. So we put it here under sundry account, and obviously we are going to put a description that is 37,243. Then on the details part under sundry accounts, this is a cancellation of check. So it can just maybe I'll narrate it as a cancellation of check. So this is what we have. So if you come here, we can now go and try to see on the next transaction what we have. Go back. You see that now we are on 2.4, and 2.4 reads a single settled day account by depositing 63,700 directly into the current account of Hyundai Cakes from Heaven. So in this case, we are seeing that this settlement was deposited directly into the account, which means it wasn't captured in the journals. So it means it is already on the bank statement, but in the journals it's not appearing. So it means we are going to input this again, which is 63,700 on the debit side of the cash book. And remember, we said the debit side of the cash book represents the cash receipts journal, and the credit side of the cash book represents the cash payment journal. So it means this was deposited directly, which means it was captured only on the bank statement, but in the journals it's not appearing. So it means we're going to put it in the journal under the cash receipts journal. So the amount we have is 63,700, and the date remains 31 May. And then on the description part, we are going to put a single, because single is the one who deposited the amount of 63,700. So we can just go there and narrate it as such. So if you come here now, you'd see that now on the dates, we are just going to leave it blank, since 31 May is going to apply to all the transactions that are going to follow. So under that now, we are going to say on the details single, and then we go to the bank where we are going to put the amount. We've got 63,700, so we are going to say 63,700. And then remember, if you go back, let's just try to see. If you go back, you would see that on that transaction, we are being told that single settled day account. So the moment that we are being told that it's an account that is being settled, it means this was a credit. So obviously, when we are receiving the money, it means this person was a debtor. So remember, we've got a column that we have there for trade receivables control. So it means this is qualifying in the other two columns that are going to follow. That's in sales and trade receivable control. So this one is qualifying under trade receivable control. So we're going to put it under trade receivable control as 63,700. So if it qualifies in these two columns, it means you're not going to post it under sundry accounts. So you are just under sundry accounts, you're not going to enter anything. So if you put an amount under bank here, if it doesn't qualify under sales and trade receivables, you put it under sundry accounts. But if it qualifies under sales and trade receivables control, you have to put it under sundry account. So this is what we have in this case. So we go to the next transaction to see what we have. So if you go back, you see that after that transaction, we have got 2.5, which is the bank statement for Kundali Cakes from the event displayed a credit entry of 169,857, but it was for another client for Canara Bank. So you see that this mistake is only affecting the bank statement, but it's not going to affect uh, the the cash book or the journals, because this was a mistake which transpired at the bank. So it's going to affect the bank reconciliation statement, which we are not going to do in this video. So we can leave it. Then we go to 2.6. At the current account of Kundali Cakes from Yemen was not yet credited with a deposit of 289,261, which was made on 31 May 2021. Obviously, whenever a deposit is issued again, it's entered there and there in the journals or the cash book, but in the bank statement it might not appear because it might be along the way, or it's still in process of being processed. So in that case, we don't adjust it in the cash book, but in the bank reconciliation we are going to adjust it. So it means this one also is going to affect uh, the bank reconciliation. So we can leave it again. This one also is affecting the bank reconciliation. We are seeing this one also was affecting the bank reconciliation. So if you go to the next one, which is now 2.7, there is Entesa's check for 42,564 rands in payment of his account had been retained by the bank marked prepared to draw insufficient funds. So when we received this check, we already entered this check in our books. So it means this 42,564 was already entered, and we are being told that it's a check that was received. So it was there, it's there under the cash receipts journal. So to cancel it, since it was retained, we are supposed to go to the opposite side, which means we are going to go to the cash payment journal and enter it. So remember the date, we are saying the date is 31, and then on the details part, we are saying we have got Intesa as our payee, and then that's where we are going to put Intesa as our payee, and then we can see on other columns is it qualifying or not. So we can go there and try to see what do we have. So this is our cash payment journal, and remember on the date we are saying you have 31, so we are going to put our 31 as our date. So we've got 31 here that we are going to put here. And remember, before we enter that transaction, we have got some pre-entered figures that were there according to the answer book. We have got the opening balances of the cash payment journal that was pre-entered there that we are supposed to put there. And remember, on the opening balance, we are going to say here under payee we can just write total, and then on the amount it was 39,527. 39,527, and we've got so on the purchases part, remember I'm saying this opening balance was pre-entered in the answer book. So we go to purchases. Purchases was 10,934. And then for equipment, we have got 16,950. And then for bank charges, we've got 2,412. So this is what we have on the. So these are the opening balances that we have that were pre-entered in the cash books. So under bank, we have got this amount 39,527, purchases 10,934, equipment 16,950, charges 2,412, and then the amount was under the salary account, we have got 9,234. So this is what we have. Then we can go back now to see on the amount that we want to adjust for. And remember, on the date part here, it's on the first, the balance will be on the first day of the period, which is 1. Remember, we are in May, so it means this is 1 May. So 1 May, and this represents the transaction that we want to adjust for now is on 31 May. So remember, on the payee, we said we are going to put the name of Intesa. Intesa is name that we are going to put here, and then the amount that we identified there was 42,564. And we can go back to try to see if this amount is qualifies under purchases and equipment, and we can see if it qualifies under purchase equipment or bank charges. It means we're not going to post it under the sample account section. So if you can go back, let's try to see in terms of its description. So it reads interest check of 4,564 in payment of this account had been returned by the bank marked repair to drawer. Insufficient funds. So this is a cancellation that we are making. So we are not going to put it under those columns. It means it's straight away going to go under sundry account. So we are going to put it under sundry account. So if you come here under sundry accounts, it means on the amount section we have got 42,564. 42,564. In this on the details, remember this is a cancellation. So this is a cancellation, so you can just write a cancellation. This maybe you can give a description of cancellation of the district so that check. Or you can leave it as such, and then you can go back to see in terms of the next transaction that we have. Right, so if you go back and see on the next transaction is for 2.8, it is a check. The value of 42,868 rands withdrawn by the Kundali cakes from here from Heaven's head office out of their current account appears on the business bank statement. So this is a transaction relating to the head office, and it's not going to affect this Kundali cakes from Heaven branch. So what it means is this transaction was not supposed to be on the bank statement of Kundali cakes from Heaven. So it needs to be cancelled on the bank statement. It's an error that is affecting the bank statement. So we are not going to adjust it in the journals. So basically, what we are saying this again is going to affect the bank reconciliation. You can leave it according to this video. So we can go again to see on the next one. If you go to 2.9, 2.9 is the bank statement show the monthly stop order of 37,264 rands in favor of San Diego Security. This was to pay the owner's alarm system account. So this the bank statement show the monthly stop order, which means this amount is reflecting on the bank statement. Remember, a stop order is effected first at the bank, and we can only get to know about that transaction when we get hold of the bank statement. So it means already in the journals it's not yet adjusted, so it means we have to adjust it. And it's a stop order. Whenever there's a stop order, it means it's a debit on the bank statement, which is going to affect the payment journal. In other words, money is being withdrawn from our business bank account. So it means we are going to put it under the cash payments journal, which is 37,264. So on the description, remember it's San Diego Security. That is on the pay. That's where we're going to put San Diego Security, and the date is going to apply as 31 May. So we are just going to leave it as such. And remember, we are going to identify again if it qualifies on those three columns that are going to follow after bank. So we can go there and see how we can transact that. And if you come here, you see that on the date part, you're just going to leave it blank as 31 May is going to apply for the transactions that are going to follow beneath. So here we are saying on pay San Diego Security. So we're going to write San Diego Security. And then on the amount part, remember we identified it as 37,264. 37,264. And then if you go back there, let's try to go back and try to see if it falls under purchases, equipment, or bank charges. So if you come here, let's go back and try to see on the description. See here is saying in favor of Santiago Seguro, this was to pay the bonus alarm system. So you'd see that this payment of an alarm system is not purchases, it's not payment of equipment, it's not payment of bank charges. So it doesn't qualify in those columns. So it means automatically it goes under sundry accounts. And on the details of sundry accounts, this is just a payment of alarm system. So we can just maybe classify it as a sundry expense and write or sundry expense under description part. So you can go back there and try to enter that under sundry accounts. So we have now 37,264 that we are going to enter there. And 264. And on the description part, we are saying this is just uh, a small amount that you can classify under sundry expense, or just you can just call it security expense. So we can just in this case, let's just say sundry expense. So this is what we have. Then you can try to see again on the next transaction. Right, we are now going to 2.10, which is the bank statement showed a debit order of 74,598 in favor of Collard Insurer as payment of an insurance, as well as the bank charges of 56,122. What does it mean? Remember, whenever we have bank debit orders, stop orders, standing orders, those are effected in the bank first before we notice them in the business. So it means that they won't be appearing in the journal. So it means automatically the debit orders, standing orders, they do they have to be adjusted in the cash journals or updated in the cash. So in this case, we're going to enter them on the payment journal. So remember, we said whenever there's a debit order, what is being debited is the bank statement. And when we debit the bank statements, it means in our cash book, we are going to credit. And when we credit cash, our cash book, it is under the cash payments journal. So we are going to put these two under cash payment journal and bank charges as well. The bank, these are charges that are affected by the bank that we cannot notice in the business, but we can only get to know them when we get hold of the bank statement. So this is what we have. So we are just going to enter them as such. Remember on the description, we've got on the first one of 74,598. This was a debit order of Pollard Insurer. So on the payee is Pollard Insurer. Then on the bank charges, the bank is Canara Bank. Remember, this is the bank that we are updating our books. So we are going to write Canara Bank on 74,598 on the payee part. And we are just going to adjust it as such. And on the, if they qualify under purchases, equipment, and bank charges, you would see that they don't qualify under those three. So we're going to put them under sundry account. So we could come here now. We leave on the date part. Remember, I said all transactions are going to apply as 31 May. So we are going to start with the Collard Insurer. And the amount is 74,598. And then we go to sundry. We go to sundry. Put again 74,598 under the amount. And we have 74,598 under the amount. Then under details, remember this, you can just try to go back to find the description of what was being paid. We are being told that this was insurance. It was payment of insurance. So this, we are going to write insurance on the description of under sundry accounts. So if you come here now, we are going to see here, we are going to say insurance. And then we can go back to see in terms of the other transactions. Remember, we've got two transactions that we picked there. So the next one, remember I said we are going to write Canara Bank on the payee part. So here we are saying Canara Bank, and the amount that we have there on Canara Bank is 56,122. Remember we said also it's going to qualify under sundry. So we're going to put it under sundry. We're going to say 56,122. And these were bank charges, so we write bank charges on the details. So this is what we have, and then we can go to the next transaction to see what we have. On 2.11, it reads a check number 212 to the value of 37,244 sent to Cook's Bakery as payment of our account must be cancelled. So remember, we said whenever a check is issued, it's already recorded, it's there in our books. So what does it mean? Let's try to see how we can adjust this one. So we are saying when it was issued, it was recorded under payments. So it means when you're canceling, says it is being said it must be cancelled. When you're canceling, go to the opposite side. So it means you go to the cash receipt journal and enter it. So I remember all the cancellations we are saying they always go to under sundry accounts, which is very clear. So on the description for this one, it's Cook's Bakery. I remember we are being told that it was issued to Cook's. It was being paid by Cook's Bakery. So we are going to write Cook's Bakery on the details part. So we can just go there and enter such. So we are now going to the cash receipts journal. So this is our cash receipts journal. So on our cash receipts journal, we are saying for the details part, we are going to write Cook's Bakery. And the amount that we have is 37,000. 37,243. 37,243. So this check was a cancellation, which means it's going to affect our sundry accounts. So we can just go there and adjust under sundry accounts. So we are saying Cook's Bakery. You've got 37,242. 37,243. Then we are going to go through under sundry account. It's 7,000. It's coming as the same transaction. So we are just going to enter as same as we did at first, which is the cancellation object. And then we can now go and see on the next transaction, which seems to be the last transaction that we have in question. On the last transaction, it reads check number 169 was incorrectly entered in cash payment journal as 60,562 instead of 40,562. The check was issued to MTN in payment of a tablet. So what is the explanation saying? It was incorrectly entered in the cash payment journal as 60,562 instead of 40,506. 4,562. So we first try, let's try to first find the difference between the two, whereby we are now saying 60,562, and then we subtract 40,562. So if you subtract here, you would see that you are going to get 20,000. And then after getting the difference, we try to identify which amount was entered, which wrong amount was entered. The wrong amount was 60,000, which is greater than the actual amount. So it means we entered a greater amount, which means we have to cancel this 20,000 that we have there. So this was in cash payments. So to cancel it, it means we have to go to the opposite side, that is cash receipts journal, and enter it under the cash receipts journal. So this 20,000 is to apply on the cash journal. And remember, it was for MTN. So on the details part, we are going to write MTN, and we see if it qualifies under sales and trade receivables, which that it doesn't qualify, so it goes under sundry accounts. So we can do as such. So we are saying on the details part, we are saying MTN. And obviously, it's a collection of check number 169, and then bank, you're going to put 20,000. We are saying it goes straight to the under central accounts. So it was an overstatement. Overstatement of payment. So this is what we have in terms of the transactions that we've. So remember, this was the last transaction. So obviously, we are going to close the accounts, the transaction that we entered there. So we can just put our double lines starting from bank. We are seeing from here. So if you add under the bank, the total that you're going to get there is 188,834. 188,834. It will go under bank, so under sales. The next one we've got sales, we've got only 12,000, so we've got 12,210 here. Then under the next one, we've got trade receipt of control. If you add there, you're going to get 67,000. 67,884. Then if you go to the sundry, under the sundry accounts, the amount section, the amount column, you are going to get. Let's try to see if you get what you get there. If you say 22,497, and you add 37,243, add 37,243 again, and then we get your 20,000. You're going to get 116. 116. 116. You are saying 116,983. So you do the same thing under cash receipts, cash receipts journal. Under the cash payment journal, again, we're going to add the total so that we close off the journal. So under payments, the total that we're going to get is 250,775. Go under purchases as 10,934. Equipment, we've got 16,950. Bank charges, we 58,534. Then on the amount section, we can use website to add there. For the sundry section, we are saying 9,234. Then we are adding 42,000. 564. We get 37,264. And then the next one, we've got 74,598. 598, and then on the next one, we are saying 56,122. The answer that we are going to get there is 219,782. So these marks are the end of our journals. So we can prepare them as such, and when you are posting now to the ledger, that is the bank account, you are just going to pick the totals and put them. And the payment journal is going to go to the credit side of the bank account, and then the receipts, the total from the receipts journal goes to the debit side of the bank account, and you balance as such. So this is what we have according to this video. We'll meet again in the next video. As for this video, I'm saying now.